important prophecy, and I have to apologize. It's
25 names, please.
I have already dealt with that. But let me finish my answer. That there are two different genealogies being presented there.
Okay.
The genealogy of... Well, let me finish responding to some of the other things.
I thought you changed the subject, that's why I'm sorry.
I want... Well, I am. There's so many subjects. I've got to change subjects. I don't know who you're clapping for, but I'll just take it personally that you're clapping for me.
I will you did in 1 hour what I didn't do here.
Getting back to Isaiah now, because that's a very, very important prophecy, and I think Yosef raised some very important challenges, and the one regret I have regarding them is that there are a lot of details involved, and I don't know how well you're able to follow it. But one of the where do I start? Let me start with Emmanuel. You know, is Emmanuel merely a name or a description of who this person is? God with us. Now, there are a lot of ways to answer that question. One way is to show that so many prophecies in Scripture, so many prophecies that talk about Messiah actually being, I don't know how you say it, Yahweh, Adonai, not Adonai, but for instance from Jeremiah 23:5, especially 6, it talks about a child being born, a branch of David, so everybody knows that we're talking about the Messiah here. And then it says, you know what his name is going to be? His name is going to be God, and that's the Yud, He, Vav, He. God, our righteousness. That's incredible. What that's saying is Messiah is going to be Yahweh. And beyond that, it's also saying that Messiah is going to be, as the New Testament has said in so many ways, and also, I would add the Tanakh, that our righteousness, if we are going to come before God, it can never be in our own righteousness. It has to be in the righteousness that is given as a gift by God. And so it says about this child, who is the branch of David, it says about him that he is going to be God, our righteousness. Because we cannot have confidence in our own righteousness. Because if we're really honest with ourselves and we look at ourselves, we know how far short of God that we fall. And so we know that there has to be an offering. But not like the offerings that were made traditionally in the temple, offerings that had to be offered over and over again. It would have to be the Messiah himself who would be offered as a covenant, a once-and-for-all offering, the very offering that all Israel has been waiting for, the very offering that would make us righteous in God's sight. But let's go back to the context, because I think the context is the most important thing. And as I mentioned before, if you're going to understand Isaiah 7, it's related to Isaiah 8 and 9 and 10 and 11, because what Isaiah does in these chapters is continues to return to the same theme. Talks about a child being born. For instance, in Isaiah 9. Let me just read you Isaiah 9, 6 to 7. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name, here's his name again, his name will be called Wonderful Counselor. I think it's Peleo Ox, a word that only pertains to God. Mighty God, in other words, El Gibor, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. And upon the throne of David